Greetings, YouTube. Since yesterday, I don't think that my inbox on the Line app has blown up quite as much as it has in a long time because the Act 6 Exploration Pack popped up when several summoners completed their first full completion of Act 6 Chapter 1, and they were surprised to see this crazy high 12,000 unit price tag, unlike anything I've really seen since the 15,000 unit price tag, which then was reduced to 10,000 units later on in the year of the 5-star Vision offer, for those of you who remember that. The OG Vision, I should say, not Age of Ultron Vision. And so, on the surface, it's just a really, really high price tag. And you got to think to yourself, man, that's about $400 worth of units. What in the world would be worth $400 worth of units? But what I try to do is quantify on my channel what a good deal is and a bad deal is. And it's tough because unit-wise, just like I did yesterday when I talked about the two special offers, I talked about how, especially when you don't want to be rewarding a company that's done a lot of really, really, really shady things in the past week, you don't want to be spending cash, but there are several free-to-play players who have hoarded well over 10,000 units. Some, of course, who I've seen have hoarded as much as 20 or 30,000 units. And so there are some people out there who look at this 12,000 unit stash and think, I've got the units. And then, of course, there are most people out there who either have half the units or a third of the units or none of the units that have to be asking themselves, gosh, even if we weren't talking about a boycott in this community, and even if everybody was thinking about this as just a normal green light offer or not, is it really worth the units? So I always say I don't think any offer in a mobile video game is worth multiple $100s of your cash. That is a price that you could buy an entire video game system plus a crazy amount of games, plus controllers, back in the day, rumble packs, memory cards, etc., you name it. So that's a crazy amount of money to throw. Of course, we know that some people spend, tens of thousands of dollars a year on this game. So to them, it's probably is nothing. But to most people, that's a crazy amount of money, and I never want to lose sight of that. But hopefully you're watching this, and if you're considering it, you have a lot of units saved up. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to go back in my archives and look for some of the best deals that we have seen to compare how much we would expect in a normal offer that pops up to pay for both Tier 2 Alpha and Tier 5 Basic, because this is a Rank 4 to Rank 5 5-star rank up gem offer. This is the first time that we have seen this offer. And I want to say that unfortunately it is not a generic rank 4 to rank up 5 gem that you can use on any 5-star. If that was the case, the value would be through the roof. It is a 1 out of 6 RNG, where the RNG usually gives you the class that you least want. But this is one of those gems that, just like when you get it from the variant difficulty, I believe, it doesn't matter who you get, it doesn't matter what class you get. It's not a bad item to have in your inventory, even if you have no one to use it on at the moment. And it does take the place of two really huge items that are so hard to get in a high quantity. And that is 2 fully formed Tier 5 Basic, which is what it takes to take a 5-star from Rank 4 to Rank 5. And not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not even 5, but 6 fully formed Tier 2 Alpha. That's not including the Tier 4 class Catalysts or the Tier 4 Basic or the Tier 1 Alphas, which all are pretty significant too. But for the sake of the argument of this video, I want to just concentrate on how much is considered to be a good or at least a decent deal from what we've seen in the past for both cash and units for Tier 2 Alpha Catalysts and Tier 5 Basic Catalysts. We need to remember that July 4th is a day where most of the time we do not see anything close to that the rest of the year, except for Cyber Monday this past year. But regardless, on July 4th, as part of the bonus of a Odin offer of $100 American last year, you got 15,000 Tier 5 Basic Catalyst fragments, or 1/3 of a Tier 5 Basic. And so, doing the math, you would have to spend 3 Odins to get one Tier 5 basic, and then it was a limit of 3. So you couldn't even purchase $600 worth of units if you wanted to. But even just assuming best case scenario, that's the best deal we've seen for cash, especially when you combine, of course, the free units with it. That's $600 worth of units for a considered to be a pretty good deal for Tier 5 basic Catalyst fragments. That's 18,000 units. And we have seen deals that are far worse. In fact, the most common deal we've seen is 4,500 Tier 5 basic Catalyst fragments for $50 or 9,000 Tier 5 basic Catalyst fragments for $100. And of course, then that would make a Tier 5 basic $500 or 2 Tier 5 basics $1,000. And $1,000 worth of units is 30,000 units. And that's just for the 2 Tier 5 basic. That's not even counting the 6 Tier 2 alphas, which the best Tier 2 alpha deal we've seen is 2.5 Tier 2 alpha over the course of a month in the January login calendar for $100, or about $40 a piece. And when you consider that you need 6 of them to take a 5-star from rank 4 to rank 5, that's at least $240 worth of units, which is about 7,000 to 7,500 units. So if you just combine the best case scenario on average in this game for Tier 5 basic and Tier 2 alpha catalyst and ignore everything else in this bundle, including all of the bonus items also included, that is at least 25,500 units worth of value just for the 2 fully formed Tier 5 basic and just for the 6 Tier 2 alpha. So suddenly, when you look at it through those lenses, the 12,000 units is more than half off the best deals we have seen for this rank up item, and that only takes into account 2 of the rank up items. We know you need way more than that, especially when it comes to the Tier 4 class catalysts of that champion and the Tier 1 alphas and the Tier 4 basic, etc. So that's not all. I feel like Billy Mays, rest in peace. Oh wait, there's more. We also know that this deal is including several items that you probably need to fully explore the first chapter of Act 6. We know that it comes with enough level 5 health potions, that 25 to be exact, as you can see on screen. That's worth 700 units if you were to buy them in the store. You also have 15 level 5 team health potions, which would cost you 750 units on average. Then you have 2 items that aren't even available in the potion store or the unit store or the revive store. Level 3 revives, 15 of them, which on average I think would cost you, even if they were available in the store, at least another 750 units. And then you have, honestly, the best item of the whole bonus bunch, the level 3 team revive, which would cost you at minimum 100 units, even though those are also not even available for purchase. And that would cost you 1,000 units to get those because there's 10 of them. And then, of course, the easiest thing to calculate, the energy refills, which we know are 30 units apiece, and you get 20 of them as bonus, so that's 600 units total. So we already talked about 25,500 units worth of value just for the Tier 2 alphas, the 6 of them, and the 2 fully formed Tier 5 basics. When you add in the bonus items, that's at least 3,800 units. That's a pretty generous calculation worth of items. So you add that together, and that's over 29,000 units worth of value, and that is not counting the bonus Tier 4 basics that you save in the rank up, the Tier 1 alphas, and the Tier 4 class catalysts as well. I know that 12,000 units is a crazy amount, and that's why I started off this video saying if you don't have any units and you have to spend cash, even if we weren't in a boycott situation, I would strongly recommend you don't do that because it's just such a high amount of money, especially for the average player. And of course, if you're a free-to-play player, you can't get it at all because you either have the units or you can't get it. This is one of those offers that if you think to yourself, man, I really, really, really need this gym and I don't want to pay a penny. Maybe you're a free-to-play player who the only chance for you to ever really get ahead in the game is offers like this. This is one of the few offers in the game that I love because you determine when you trigger it. You can go through all the way from Act 6, Chapter 1, as far as I know, until the very last chapter and just not do it until you have the 12,000 units to spare. And assuming that you don't need to use any of those units for revives or potions, etc., you're going to have the units when the offer is triggered, and then you'll have 24 hours, of course, from there to purchase it. So it is fantastic knowledge for the community that a deal that could be worth at least 29,000 unit retail is half that, and you determine when you trigger it. So that's my biggest advice to anyone watching this that thinks at any point, assuming you haven't already triggered this, that you want this, but you don't want to spend cash, especially because you don't want to give Kabam your hard-earned money. Now, maybe you're not an arena grinder, and maybe that would take a really long time to get the units yourself through other means in the game without actually spending cash. I know for me, I can get between 2,000 and 3,000 units easy a month, probably closer to 4,000 to 5,000 if I'm really in an arena groove and the arena crystals don't screw me on those drop rates, which lately, of course, they have been. But regardless, this is a very, very fair offer, and I do think the question of this video is going to be, how many units is a rank 4 to rank 5 5-star gym actually worth? And my answer is 25,500 units minimum, and that does not take into account any of the tier 4 class catalysts you save, which we know there are plenty of those, the tier 4 basics, or the tier 1 alpha catalysts. That's simply the 6 tier 2 alpha catalysts and the 2 tier 5 basic, the 2 rarest items still in the game to this day, because we haven't seen things like 6-star awakening gems or 6-star signature stones for that matter yet. So, does the math make sense? What do you think about this offer? I hope I have answered several of the same question that I've received in the past 24 hours. My biggest advice is if you want this and you really don't want to spend money, save your units, be patient. I realize that's really hard for people because the Cavalier crystals, as I said also yesterday, are really insane. Just the pulls people have, especially the 6-star pulls. It's still so crazy to see a rollover that goes from a 3-star champion to a 6-star champion. That breaks my mind by itself. But yeah, I get super thirsty for Cavalier crystals. Who wouldn't be? Heck, I am. So you're going to want to get to that point, and maybe you're not going to wait to hoard 12,000 units. Just know, despite the crazy high price, it actually is not a terrible value. And even if you don't get the class that you're searching for, I don't think anyone should ever complain that you have one of these gems sitting in your inventory that you can take a 5-star to max. It is truly one of the best items in the game, and I'm thankful for everybody that passed on this picture to my account to review it to start this Thursday morning off right. Or if you're across the pond, maybe it's Thursday afternoon. Who knows? Either way, thanks for watching and supporting my Marvel Contest of Champions YouTube channel. Have a great day.